Welcome back to WealthWise Mindset, your destination for financial freedom and abundance. Today's topic is something very few people talk about, but it may control almost every financial decision you make. It's called financial trauma, and whether you know it or not, it might be the reason you're stuck living paycheck to paycheck, self-sabotaging your savings, or even scared to invest. If money makes you anxious, guilty, or overwhelmed, even when you're doing okay financially, you're not alone. What you're feeling might not be about your current bank account. It might be due to financial trauma buried inside you. And until you deal with that trauma, it'll quietly shape every decision you make about money without you even realizing it. This video will change the way you see your money story forever. By the end, you'll understand what financial trauma is, how it shows up in everyday money habits, and most importantly, how to start healing it to attain lasting financial stability. Let's dive in. What is financial trauma? Financial trauma happens when money-related experiences overwhelm your sense of safety and control. Just like other forms of trauma, financial trauma puts your nervous system into survival mode. It tells your brain that money equals danger. You might think trauma has to come from some major disaster, but financial trauma can come from a wide range of experiences. Losing a job, growing up with financial insecurity, watching your parents fight about money, being evicted. The trauma isn't just about what happened, it's about how your body and brain responded. And if your body never felt safe again, then your money habits might be operating from fear, not logic. How money becomes a trigger. For someone with financial trauma, money isn't neutral, it's a trigger. You might feel your heart race when a bill arrives, or freeze up when someone brings up investing. You might even sabotage yourself financially without knowing why. That's because trauma changes the way your brain processes threats. It affects your amygdala, the part of your brain that detects danger, in your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles logic and decision-making. That's why you might overspend, shut down, or argue about money, even when the situation doesn't seem that serious. Your brain is responding to an old danger, not the current moment. Where financial trauma comes from. Let's talk about how this trauma forms. It often starts in childhood. If you grew up hearing phrases like, "We can't afford that," or "money doesn't grow on trees," those ideas might have become part of your identity. If you saw your parents stressed, working multiple jobs, or borrowing money just to pay rent, you might have internalized fear and scarcity as normal. But trauma doesn't only come from poverty. Even wealthy households can create financial trauma. Maybe money was used as a weapon or a reward, and trauma can also form later in life after a financial crisis, a divorce, job loss, or even a global recession. Trauma isn't about what happened. It's about how it made you feel and whether you had the tools and support to process it. How trauma shows up in your money habits. Financial trauma doesn't just live in your memories, it shows up in your behavior. It affects how you earn, spend, save, invest, and even how you talk about money. 1. Earning trauma can lead you to under-earn. You might settle for low-paying jobs, avoid negotiations, or stay in toxic work environments. Deep down, you may believe you're not worth more, or that asking for more will trigger conflict or rejection. 2. Spending. Some people spend impulsively to self-soothe. Others become hyper-frugal, afraid to buy anything non-essential. Neither is about the purchase, it's about control. One says, "I need comfort now." The other says, "I have to protect myself at all costs." 3. Saving. If you grew up with financial chaos, you might hoard money obsessively, fearing it'll vanish. Or you might struggle to save at all, because saving reminds you of past failure. In either case, the emotion behind it is fear. 4. Investing. Many trauma survivors avoid investing altogether. It feels risky, unpredictable, unsafe. Even if you understand the logic, your body says, "Don't do it." So you stay stuck in financial limbo, not growing, just surviving. 5. Money conversations. People with trauma often avoid talking about money. It brings up shame, guilt, or panic. They'd rather avoid the topic entirely than risk conflict, judgment, or vulnerability. The hidden cost of unhealed trauma. The biggest cost of financial trauma isn't just missed opportunities. It's the way it erodes your sense of self. When you believe you're bad with money, you start to internalize that belief. You feel broken, behind, ashamed, and that shame keeps you from seeking help. Unhealed trauma keeps you trapped in survival mode. You might be making 6 figures and still feel broke. You might have no debt and still live in fear. How to start healing financial trauma. The good news is that trauma can heal. The brain is neuroplastic and it can change. But healing isn't about willpower or spreadsheets, it's about safety. Here's how to begin. 1. Name the trauma. You can't heal what you won't name. Start by identifying where your money beliefs came from. What was your first memory of money stress? What did you learn about money growing up? How did your family treat money? Journaling these experiences can help bring unconscious patterns to light. It's not about blame. It's about understanding the emotional blueprint you were given. 2. Practice nervous system regulation. When you feel triggered by money, your nervous system goes into survival mode. Before making any big decision, pause and regulate. Breathe deeply. Splash cold water on your face. Go for a walk. Let your body feel safe again before you take action. Regulating your nervous system helps you shift from reactive to intentional. It gives you back control. 3. Create micro wins. Healing financial trauma is not about fixing everything overnight. It's about building small, safe habits that rebuild trust with yourself. That might mean checking your bank account once a day, setting aside $5 a week, talking openly with someone you trust. Every small win tells your brain, I'm safe now. Over time, those small wins create a new foundation. 4. Redefine your money story. Your old money story might say, I'll never have enough, or I don't deserve wealth, but you can write a new one. A story where you are capable, worthy, and resilient. This isn't toxic positivity. It's about consciously choosing a new narrative and practicing it until it feels real. What healing actually feels like. Healing financial trauma doesn't mean you'll never feel fear again. It means you'll recognize the fear and make choices anyway. It means you'll stop letting your past run the show. You'll notice you're less reactive, less impulsive. You'll start making decisions from a place of calm, not panic. You'll stop sabotaging your progress. You'll start building with intention. And one day you'll realize that you trust yourself with money, that you feel safe, that you are not repeating the same cycle anymore. Your money habits are not just about discipline or intelligence. They're about safety, about survival. And if your brain learned that money wasn't safe, no amount of budgeting tips will truly help until you heal the wound underneath. But the fact that you're here watching this means you're ready, you're aware. And that awareness is the first step to freedom. If this video helped you see your money habits in a new light, hit like, click subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Your relationship with money can heal just like anything else. Drop a comment below with the money belief you're working on and subscribe for the full Money Mindset Makeover Month. Let's start this journey together. See you in the next one.